Hi all, welcome to another chess24 Banter Blitz. It's approaching 11:30. Just check the preview screen here. Mute over here. Okay, let me know if audio and visual should be okay. And let's have a look at the discount code screen to start off with. You can get a whopping 15% off with this voucher code, Kingscrusher. So that's my voucher code. Then you can challenge me or any other streamers, grandmasters, etc. You just turn up 10 to 15 minutes before, send your challenge, goes on our challenge list, and then we can pick up the challenges. That's one of the many perks of going premium. Okay, so let's go to the challenges now. Kaz. Maybe C4 to start off with today. Happy New Year, by the way. Yes, Happy New Year to everyone. So may your pass pawn's queen accept against me, your kingside attacks work accept against me, and yeah, okay, let's see. So E4 is that actually creating a target here? Maybe bishop B4 is possible. Bishop B4. Oh, okay. Provocative. If I go here, I want to open up this bishop actually. I don't mind about the double pawns. My key consideration, I think, is this bishop. Capturing away from the center is generally something maybe you don't want to do, but here I think it's okay. Bit wary about tactics already though. Maybe I should take here, because otherwise bishop f3 and knight takes e5. Have I played h4 here? Is that dangerous? And the Greek gift, I'm not sure this is working here, but knight g5 as an alternative just to put some pressure on the king side looks interesting for a moment. I think I'll try castling queen side. That's been left. Okay, I'll try castling queen side. I don't mind the activating of the rook. I just want to castle queen side here. Knight c5. Okay, knight c5. Okay, that's not happening now. Maybe g4, knight takes e6 looks good. If I have queen e6 and g5, just g4 here loses the exchange right now. Maybe f3 to start off with, then g4. Okay, that's a bit of a pain. Have I played queen f2 here? So knight g3 was threatened. Rook h3 seems plausible. G4. Is G4 any good? Okay, I just wanted the H file really with that. It's not about winning material as much as the H file. If I just double the rooks here. threatening mate. If g6, then check and then mate. G6 check. King g7. Here is checkmate. Now here g6 stops king f7. So renewing. Okay, there is knight h6. Maybe I should have played. I should have not allowed that. Okay, I'm gonna take here anyway. It's just still looking. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. There's bishop f4. And stop bishop f4 for a laugh. It's getting me in trouble a bit. Yeah. Right now I'm threatening rook h7 to win the queen. I think this should be okay. Well, if the king moves back, I'll take the rook. Actually. Okay. Queen can go in over there. Alright, thanks for the game, Kaz. Try to spice things up. Opposite side castling. Okay, Gabriel Ferrand. So this is one of my favourites, Smyslov defense, I might be called. It seems such a natural plan to me. Well, especially if white castles kingside, but it looks as though he's not going to castle kingside. Actually, I have a sneaking suspicion. Yeah, so is it? I wonder h4 is the idea. No. The bishop could be crushed here potentially with d4. That disaster has been averted at the moment. But maybe I'll do it anyway. The king's right in the center at the moment, so isn't this dangerous for rook e8 check? I'm going to put the bishop here. It might be handy for queen b5 and bishop b3 later. Queen b5, does that look wrong? Queen b5. It looks, actually, yeah, I don't think the king should be there. On the other hand, it doesn't seem that easy. Maybe the check, actually, the check puts the king in a precarious state. Can I just double rooks here for a moment before doing anything else? There looks to be a tactic with rook e1 potentially. Bishop b3 and rook e1 potentially. Well, actually the king would have c2. Okay, I can threaten now. Bishop b3. This looks like a very scary position for white with the king on d1. So bishop b3 seems to win the queen. Okay, I can keep the pin and win. In fact, I can probably celebrate the pin with queen takes d3. Someone asked me about where I got that term from. I think I made it up. It wasn't from a book or anything. But it's a bit over celebrating to take here. I think I should, because then actually queen takes d3 is not bad here. I'm not sure it is actually over celebrating. Queen takes d3 check. Why not? Now knight d5. The rook's hanging. Alright, thanks to the game, Gabriel Ferrens. Okay, the king was a bit scary there in the centre. So this bishop might be a target for d4 later. So knight comes here, so I can have the f pawn later. Maybe I'll stop the use of g4. If bishop e6, it runs into d4, d5 here, forking e6 and c6. So black has to be careful with that bishop there. This is an important tempo gainer. Bishop d3 might actually be threatened. That's why I'm playing this now. I don't want bishop d3 necessarily. This is another tempo gainer for g4 and knight g3 later. Potentially. But I have to be wary about the d4 pawn if I do that. So what about this first? So potentially I can play g4 and knight g3 now. Then g5. I like gaining space like this. Space, the final frontier. Star Trek. So c5 doesn't seem to work at the moment. Does it? g4 might run into a piece sack, but I'm not sure that's sound. So I'll play g4. I'm not sure this is sound. That's the thing. So if I'm given knight g3, it looks quite comfortable. Knight g3 not just covers e4, it covers h5. So, d5 now seems to win a piece. That fork is a classic tactic in these lines. Right, I could play d takes, and if bishop f2, I get that semi-open f file as a perk. Although queen takes is possible. Well, let's see what happens here. Queen takes is possible. F takes, queen e3, king h1. It's a piece, isn't it? Unless my king's in trouble. So knight f4, I don't think there's a major tactic at the moment. If I move this knight, I lose e2, so I'm trying to get this out of the e file. Alright, so knight d5 looks juicy. Hits the queen and f6. Alright, so knight f6 is on the way. Maybe queen d5 here or rook f7. I think rook f7 looks safe enough. And then maybe queen d5 coming up, or queen f1. Queen f1 might be better for rook f8. Yeah, queen f1. So, alright, I'll play rook f8, exchange off a pair of, exchange off everything. Knight takes as bishop d5. Okay, thanks for the game, Fuxrudel. I don't want an increment. No increments, please. See you for 2. Okay. $19.82. So this could transpose into a Queen's Gambit declined, I suppose. It's a bit provocative. I'm going to ignore that provocation. There might be some dark square issues sometimes. If you push along with d5, it's I'm conscious about weakening dark squares. So it looks a very unusual opening. Probably d5 is handy overall, but this is comfortable territory, Catalan territory. I like fianchettoing the bishop here, Catalan-ish. Right, I like the idea of the gambit for e4, e5. Sometimes this leads to a very comfortable position with attacking prospects sometimes. Because there's knight e4, h4, knight g5, for example. When the knight is dislodged away from h7, this can lead to good prospect, I hope. Attacking prospects. So h4, knight fg5. In the meantime, yeah, black's also, I guess, knight b4 to d3 is scary. It could be a tactical liability, though, in its own right. I'll play this anyway here. Bishop e3 or knight g5. I think I'll play like this. Maybe no, bishop e3 probably doesn't work. Okay, that's been taken, right, interesting. I'll make way for I'll say my king. Let's go with this. My king goes for rooks goes the H file. Okay, I think this helps me because I'm going to have knight f6 potentially. Is there a piece counter sack or something? I think the knight's pinned to b7 at the moment, so I'm not sure this is possible without b7 dropping. In the meantime, I'd like to play one or two moves. Bishop e3, rook d1. Okay, let's change the climate of the position. I've still got some sort of H-file prospect. So king g2, rook h1, I believe. Where's that knight going? So maybe I should take on f5. Get a tempo. In fact, there's bishop e3 there, winning in exchange, but there's a lot of pawns on c5. I think I'd rather try and checkmate with that form pawn. So I'll go with bishop h6 and double. And there's bishop g7 if the bishop moves. Mind you, f2 could be an issue. Alright, so I'll try and swap off this bishop. Now if the bishop moves bishop g7, if it takes rook h6, well, this is not possible because of rook h8, it's checkmate. I'm just going to double for rook h8, checkmate. In fact, bishop g7 seals the deal, doesn't it? Alright, it's an interesting game. I've played that sort of stuff a bit with when sacking on c4. It leads to an entertaining sort of position generally. When you sack the c4 pawn, you push through for e4, e5, and you get all sorts of things. Okay, so it's interesting dynamically. I don't know how sound necessarily that is, but I've played that sort of thing quite a lot before. At least on fast time controls, this stuff is quite dangerous, I find, anyway. So this is the dreaded Botvinnik style system. It is a lot more stable than some of the b3 stuff I've played. It sort of locks down a central square, which is usually good news. If you look at a lot of the blitz games of Magnus Carlsen, he's often got a really ruthless focus on a central square in the openings he plays at the faster time controls. He seems always to have a more focused central square strategy from what I've seen so far from the World Blitz Tour. I'm checking out those games, but yeah, the clarity of central control in his blitz seems evident to me. So okay, I like the d5 control, and a bit of d4 control wouldn't go amiss. Maybe knight g3 and f5 at some point. f5 and bishop g5. f5 runs into this d5 check, though. My king might be in the wrong place. An alternative might be knight d5 first to lock down the d6 pawn. Maybe this is a safer alternative. Although I'm wary about bishop takes cd, this doesn't seem to be that dynamic, so I'm going to get the king out of here first. I've got to be wary about knight g3 though. So let's see, is like f5 a concern? Will black play f5? Right. Okay. In which case, knight d5 now, because this diagonal's been weakened. If I have a light square bishop, I think that's going to be better now that f5's played. It's like weakening some light squares. So to have a light square bishop may be more significant after that, but might not take it here. I'll come back here to cover g3 because I don't like this idea that g3's been slightly weakened. I think, okay, I think I want to play for d4 potentially. If I play, is b3 needed first? d4 here, yeah, f takes is a bit of a concern. Okay. If I just wait for a moment with this. Not losing the exchange if I play that. I don't want to allow b3 as a pawn sack. Just checking and not losing the exchange just yet. Got c3 well covered. So the problem with d4 is f takes and is on f4. So how would I actually make progress? Yeah. Bishop f3, knight f6. e5 doesn't seem to do anything that special. Until here, knight takes and then e5, until this position, where it seems I'm double attacking f6 and c6. Alright, this has all of a sudden worked. Sometimes tactics can do that. The forcing moves, check them out, and one little change, all of a sudden, bang, it works. That's why even the outrageous little forcing moves are kind of useful to note, because it's like you'll be more alert to opportunities even if you check all the outrageous looking forcing moves. There's a small tiny looking change and all of a sudden a forcing move works, like e5. I think it's almost as if you, the more you, in fact, I've also noticed that the more you can check those outrageous moves, it's generally the more awake you are, I think, as well. Okay, there's bishop c3 on knight c1, talking about being awake or not, but losing the exchange might not be such a bad thing. There's also bishop takes c5 though. Rook takes d3. Is that so painful? I think bishop takes c5 might be a lesser evil move, so to speak. So rook d2 might be threatened. I can actually have the bishop covering d2 and take a pawn. So why not? It looks as though black has good piece coordination right now. Possibly bishop c. Oh, this rook on the 7th I don't like. Rook f2, just to prepare for knight c3 without rook d2. e3 opens up the diagonal. Okay, it's possible that e3 is played. Okay. Okay, e3 played there, right. It's opened up the diagonal though. There is knight d5 as a tactical shot. It doesn't seem to do anything. So yeah, my pinned piece is a concern. Knight d5 could be a good interruption tactic pretty shortly, otherwise I could end up getting mated. Right, so knight d5 round about here would at least put the queen on d5, which means rook d2 isn't happening so quickly. Alright, I think I'm okay there. Alright, thanks for the game. Pawn holder. Okay, let's try English opening. Grandmaster opponent. I think this is an okay position at the moment. I've seen it before, I'm sure. Maybe A3. Okay, I think I've seen A3 before. Is B5 not doing anything? It's just inviting knight A5. Keep it in mind. B5. Can't play this. I live to tell the tale. E4 is interesting tactically. D4 is also. What about H4 for knight G5? D4 roundabout here. Or bishop H3 or H5. I wonder about H6. Sort of form pawn. One of my favourite ideas at the moment. Okay, so there's maybe knight H2 or rook, or going for D4 or bishop H3. I think I'll go for about d4? There's knight c4. Knight h4, no, knight h2. What about knight h2 for a moment? Is that... Oh, this diagonal looks more interesting now. So something like f4. No, it's a bit weakening. Oh, okay, I'll play it. Because the king's there, it's alerted me. I think I've got knight f1 to cover g3. Okay, this is a bit risky. Knight f1. Any other interesting ideas? Actually, I'm wondering about b5 being useful. Is that knight a5 all the time? I do seem defensive, yeah, unfortunately. But maybe the exchange set doesn't work. Maybe I've got e4 at the moment. Right. Oh, I think, do I want that knight to f3 later? It picks off my queen side. Interesting. Don't know. It picks off my queen side. The knight's holding d2 as well. Oh, maybe that's not the main idea. Rook g8 is dangerous. Queen h3 here. I'll drop d3. And there's rook g2. Queen h3 looks like a move, which might be interesting. Now, if rook d3, queen f5, not being left alone here for too long. I think there's also queen h6 to consider on rook d3. That's perhaps more interesting. Rook g3. Okay, what about d4 just to stop this rook d3 business for a moment? Can I think this or not? Surely there might be a perpetual check on queen f5. If he takes the knight, it's like... I'm not sure it's perpetual check, actually. Check, he's always got... I don't think it's perpetual check. But what about queen h4 instead? If I try and lure the queen, oh, let's check. Now if it takes queen d8 check, can I win a key pawn like h6 here? I would hope is an interesting pawn. Oh, down to 27 seconds. Oh, I just wanted that d8 square. Oh no, I think that's doomed. It's got knight f3 there. Oh, knight f3. Okay, well played. Yeah. Okay. That's a good lesson for me. Thanks very much. Okay, J.G. Watson. I'm try and put this knight on e5 now. So f4 maybe coming up. I wonder about this for f5 here. So the knight moves and then f5 is. I'm wondering if that's handy. So e4 coming up. Is e4 any good? What am I thinking? e4. There's, for example, there's d4. So maybe e4 isn't all that. So bishop e3 might be interesting. Bishop e3, bishop d4. Let's stop b4 for a moment. So bishop e3 here. I might be threatening b4. I'll play b4 anyway here. And okay, let's get the king off this. That's sometimes a sensitive diagonal. There is a5. a5 could be pretty handy. Okay. In light of knight c4, I want a moment to do something about the impact. That's why I'm moving this in advance of knight c4. For example, I might want to play e3. Okay, let's hold b4 for a moment. So e3 here. And actually, I'm wondering if, okay, e4 was interesting. e4. e4. It's a bit like exposed some of my pieces here. Yeah, it looks like it's more solid with the pawn on e3 in a way. So b4's on the fire, c3's on the fire. There might actually be a tactical threat here. Knight takes. All right. If I just parry that rook for a moment. Oh, hang on. I think I've lost the exchange to knight d2. Oh, crikey. And then b4 drops now as well. Intriguing. Can I put the bishop back on g2 on that? Just... maybe e4 now. Okay, there's an idea of knight f6 could be handy sometimes. What about just bishop c5 positioning? Trying to clamp down this bishop in the pawn chain. Keep it stuck in its own pawn chain. This would be a more tactical idea, but this looks like more positional. Just try and keep that bishop hemmed in. In fact, if I had a rook, that would be good to go to d7, but I haven't got a rook. So, okay, in the absence of a rook, queen d3 or queen e3, queen d3 for a moment. Oh, hang on. Yes, no, actually, yes, the idea of queen d7. Looks interesting. Queen d7 coming up. Queen d7 looks dangerous. Queen d7. If he took on c5 here, I wonder if queen d7 does anything. There's a threat of queen e8. Okay, queen d7 here looks extremely interesting. As if this pawn is going to be extremely dangerous. Ah, okay. So it's not that dangerous, apparently. Although there is knight d6 for knight f7. Hang on a sec. Knight d6 looks really good for knight f7. Alright, yeah, okay, thanks for the game. Clearly a dangerous player. I think he's beaten me before. Very well played. Friedel. So d3 is kind of out of book, isn't it? It's letting me do whatever I want. Well, I'll do this. I'll play for f5, and we've got an alarming symmetry sort of in this position, because I'm wondering if I've got anything at all. If I take and then g5 here, maybe. These strange tempo gainers are often good for central square control. Really? No. 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 I don't believe it. Bishop h6 as an example. Then there's no immediate check, right? Now, I've got a few options, f4 or queen e8 as example, but f4, I don't exactly know where the attack comes from immediately after f4. It looks good enough. Queen e8, again, it looks okay. I mean, both look okay. I'll go with f4, I think. There's something I like about f4. It means knight e5, I cover g6, f7 as well, potentially. Oh, there's also bishop g4. I have queen h4, there's like knight g6. In fact. Now, I mean, I guess might not move the knight. Okay, I'm going to support the f4 with this instead. But it means now I'm covering h4 quite well, so knight e5, bishop g4 wins the queen. Checkmates the queen. Knight e5, bishop g4 checkmates the queen, literally. Now in this position I might have time. Knight f4, bishop g4 to checkmate the queen. Even though f4 drops off because of this pinned piece. But look at this holds g6. I'm in a tactical skirmish here. Can I get away with king g6? Bishop f7 I'll take. Knight h5. Okay, my king's inconvenienced. Otherwise, I think I'll play queen f6. Wouldn't that be material up with queen f6? Alright, thanks for the game, Friedel. Okay, yeah, very, very interesting. Peace, Zach. Chess Cadet. Hi. Okay, 3-minute game. So I'm not up to much at the moment. He's playing very interesting, aggressive chess. I'll kick the queen away, maybe, or h4, this. Now, without the queens on, I think my king feels a bit safer. And I've got a view to expand on the queen side with bishop b2, knight b5 in particular. Looks naughty. Okay, there's knight e8, and he could quick kick it later, but look at this diagonal as well. So bishop b2, okay, knight c7 looks to win. e6, I think that knight's not stranded necessarily. There's d5 if he hits the knight. Surely that's an important pawn. The thing is, with d5, I'll be opening up this diagonal. So d5, okay, or putting the knight back to c7, that looks a bit daft to put the knight back to c7. I think this might be more to the point, to open up the diagonal. Actually, it gives d4 anyway. CD, CD, I can at least play d4. Okay, it's giving me the diagonal to play with now. It looks juicy, this. For e4. Yeah, this looks like a fantastic pin. E5, like nudging, like for knight f7 potentially. Knight f7 looks juicy as well. There's rook d7 here for rook e7. I'm going to celebrate this pin. Alright. Yeah, no, black's king seemed quite vulnerable on the diagonal. Okay, thanks for the game. Amalop. Okay. Oh, I think we might have to do the elephant counts. 1 elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants. Did you know a difference between Asian and African elephants I looked up actually yesterday is the tusks? Yeah. Except now I forget. I think the African male and female both have tusks, whilst the Asian elephants, it's only the male usually. A bit of elephant trivia instead of the countdown. I thought you'd appreciate it, yeah. But I can't remember which is which, yeah. Okay, it has the tusks. Anyway. Any elephant experts want to sort of clarify that? Please do, yeah. Okay, so it looks as I'm worse at the moment. I'll play this forcing move to try and invite more forcing moves with a6 and c5. Wonder if he'll let me have all of this. For c4. It's not quite a Sicilian dragon. It's got some of the features of Sicilian dragon in this position, except the pawns are different. But white's setup is like the kind of setup against the dragon. Let's imagine f4 for a moment. Okay, I don't need to imagine it now. I think this is compromising my opponent's position, you know. I have a sneaking suspicion about this. With knight c6, I think it's like the pawn structure has been diced a bit. Also, I'm happier that this bishop's not around pinning my f7 pawn. So if I can like get this position with a knight on e5, not only has the pawn structure been diced a little, some of that tactical venom's been reduced, I believe. I wonder about d6, bishop e6 now taking over the diagonal with rook c8. The cost of a backward pawn here seems irrelevant. Bishop e5, so bishop e6, rook c8. And the bishop here as well now. Okay, bishop e6, rook c8. With the idea of b5. So bishop e6, rook c8, b5 is the plan. How fast is this attack? If I played h5, doesn't that just slow down the attack a bit? I'm trying to keep things locked down where my king is. Closed, frozen, slowed down, all of that. Synonyms. No action. I just want the action around my opponent's king. So bishop g4, rook c8, queen b6, this sort of thing. Unless there's a breakthrough sacrifice with knight f5. This gains a tempo anyway, so I'm thinking my attack is starting to look good after rook c8. As long as his pawns are inhibiting the attacking pieces, that's fine over there. So rook c8, b5. I can throw in a check. Although there's a potential for e5 later. Is it worth throwing in the check? Oh, there's always bishop f5 anyway. I'll throw in the check just to get another tempo here. I'm not going to do a pre-move. There could be queen d2 for queen f4. That's dangerous to do any pre-moves. But e5, bishop f5. Does he want a self-pin? Probably not really. d5, knight f6, queen f6. I'll take on c2. Okay, so b5 roundabout here. Now knight d5, yeah. Can I just tuck the bishop away to g7 for a moment? My king might appreciate this bishop. Standing guard. Bishop g7. In fact, there might be rook c4, rook e4, bishop f5 with the pin on the queen. So rook c4 is something to be thinking about. But for a moment, I'll put the bishop on this nice diagonal. I want to play rook c4, yeah, for rook e4 here. That looks logical. Okay, preserve this bishop. Taking the sting out of this because the rook's controlling f5 now. However, rook c4 still seems handy. Especially now rook e4 is on for bishop f5. No, it's not. If I play bishop g4 here. Okay, I'll gain a tempo here with rook d4. I don't want to lose the light square bishop too easily. Or I could replace it with the queen. I'll replace it with the queen. Rook b4 seems tempting to provoke b3, this weakening of the diagonal. I wonder if queen g3 to e5 is any good. Okay, a5 to a4. Queen e4. I think a4 is possible here. Knight g5 might be a nuisance because of my b4 rook. Isn't that rook c8 check anyway? Alright, thanks for the game, Amalofe. Interesting, yeah. The mechanic. Knight c3 is slightly disturbing for me. It's taking me out of my pets stuff. Don't like that. Can I go back into some weird and wonderful gambit with d5? I think I'll do this. I got him thinking early on. That's an advantage of this unsound move. So, yeah, some blitz philosophies for 2019. Gambits are quite good. Unsound stuff is quite good because you get your opponent thinking about stuff which maybe they shouldn't. Like, it's only a 5-minute game. So, okay, so c5 or f6. Piece activity is useful as well. If I have some piece activity here, as well as a clock advantage, it justifies all of a sudden the whole thing. So knight f6, queen f6. It looks as though I've got semi-open f-file. My bishops are active. Okay, what do I do with this position though? What do I do? Maybe bishop c5, just to inhibit e3, discourage e3, then queen e7. What about queen e7? Immediately I drop d4. Okay, maybe this has got a point to it. Bishop c5. Then queen e7, then bishop g4, then castle queenside. This would be an interesting position, I think. Queen e7, bishop g4, castle queenside. Sort of Budapest. I played, not Budapest, Albin counter gambit style, which I played far too many times in 5-minute chess, often with great regret. Okay, so queen e7 there. This parries queen b5. I'm not losing the bishop immediately, I hope. So, in fact, I could castle kingside, then h6, knight f3, knight e4. I'm wondering castle kingside, as long as queen c4 doesn't win a piece. Bishop g4 looks annoying here for e2. So he's not immediately just routinely castling kingside here because of bishop e2. f3 looks like a compromise, weakness creation. f3 is something I probably can celebrate somehow later. This is a good time to check out in the opponent's time some outrageous forcing move ideas, because it opens up the doors later if there's a configuration change, subtle change. So imagine like f3, rook a e8 takes, check, bishop d2. There's nothing there though, I guess. Or is there? I mean, maybe there is. because of knight g4. Wield is king castle, bishop b4, knight e3. Wow. What about bishop e2? My queen is protected. Oh, there's a check on b3. And then I go into a self-pin, but then there's d3, cd, knight g4, that sort of stuff. This might be a case where the self-pin might be okay, but also queen e2 looks interesting. So queen e2 or bishop e2. Bishop e2, just to check this again, check, king h8, rook e1, d3, cd, knight g3, knight g4. Oh, it looks too dangerous. I don't believe this. d3 and knight g4 looks far too... I've got the rook and bishop on f2. It just looks far too dangerous to allow this. It looks as though almost bishop f2 immediately for queen c5. Then the bishop e3, knight g4. Almost immediately cd, bishop f2, king f2, queen c5, bishop e3, knight g4 is double check. It's a disaster. It's a disaster area. cd, bishop f2 for queen c5. It's a total disaster. Let's say he plays bishop e3 and just take on e3. cd, we're back to the same thing. Bishop f2, king f2, queen c5. I'm threatening bishop f2. That's what I mean about the gambit, about the blitz. You know, peace pressure in general can give rise to tactics like this. Bishop f2 looks devastating here. Queen c5, it just looks devastating. Okay, thanks for the game. Okay, yeah, there's some issues, soft spots. Hang on. Yeah, premium member, good. Excellent. This is dangerous. I don't like dynamic play against me. Like gambits in blitz. For a few reasons I might have mentioned already. In fact, have the pawn. Take the pawn back. I'm not giving development. Take the pawn back. I want the c3 square to have a pawn on it, not a knight. Yeah? Bit concerned about the X-ray stuff. I could have just taken the rook, couldn't I, winning the exchange? Muppets. Okay, this is okay anyway. It'll be good to try and play in a manner which is awake sometimes. Okay, so what happened last night, yeah, in case you're wondering, I overate at a Chinese restaurant, watched too much Parks and Recreations till about 2 a.m. Gone up far too early. I feel wrecked. I feel absolutely wrecked today. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. Yeah, there's a very addictive series on Netflix called Parks and Recreations, which I think is much better than The Office. It seems every single character is blossoming at the moment, and quite compelling to watch. Does anyone watch that? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I've overdone it on Netflix. I've overdone it last night. Okay. Anyway, am I trying to get mated here? Is there rookie 7? Rookie 7. Okay, let me see. It's getting actually a little bit scary. If only I'd taken that exchange earlier, it would have made this whole game a lot easier to play, for sure. What about bishop g7 and f5? Is this an idea? f5 is a pawn sack. King g6 for h5. Is that a suicidal idea? King g6. Covering this f5 square. My opponent's played really well. I'm sure much stronger than his rating. All his pieces are working well together. Apart from the technical issue earlier of losing the exchange, the pieces are working very well. Getting into my 7th rank. Queen on actually quite a decent place. Bishop e6 might be on the cards. What if I try and take a pair of rooks off with rook takes d7? I'm going to end up getting mated to queen f5 check. This is suicidal. So there's also bishop e6. No, that bishop e6 I can take. All right, h5 or f5. No, f5's pinned, h5. This is getting a bit scary, to say the least. Crikey, and now I'm losing on time. Okay. If I put the king back for a moment. So I'm actually down on the clock by 40 seconds as well. Can I try and blunt this bishop? If I play b5, I was going to take them bishop g8. No, he's not. Not necessarily. When? Okay. Right, actually, there's a file here to take hold of. I can take that. Hold on. Queen f5. I'm not getting mated. I can take that. You had me scared. I seriously thought I was going to get mated in some sick way. I really did. Oh, okay. Everything was starting to look pinned. It's a bad sign. Things that start to look pinned, yeah. And rook on the 7th is a bad sign. Queen like that is a bad sign. There were a few bad indicators there. The 3-minute game. Push for in the centre sometimes. Let's try and get this e5 square. So d5 is vulnerable, but can I just take on h4 for a moment? c6 or form pawn. I could form pawn this. I think I'll take and then bishop f5 here, because I didn't want to lose h6. I just noticed that I can do this. I can just take and then I'll win. Oh no, I won't. I'll keep my form pawn instead. I don't want to weaken my king. I'd rather keep the form pawn. Queen d7 to h3. Form pawn, strategy of the year from neural networks. In my view. It gives me the h4 square. If knight f3, queen g4. I'm not sure that helps. Alright, thanks for the game. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes instead of material, just going for the king is better. Having pieces lurking around the king. I'll write a book about form pawn. Maybe I should, yeah. I think I was aware of them a little bit before the neural network stuff I've been looking at in my own games. Just not so much, just not so with such clarity about it. I think I realised I was winning some games with form pawns in Blitz, at least, if not long games. I have an early memory as well in an over-the-board game when I was a kid, and some people thought I was lost. I was playing against this US superstar junior, and I'd blocked up the position, and I guess it might have been a form pawn, and my dad, apparently, he was told by my parents, oh, I'm totally lost because I've just blocked up the position. But my dad said something like, oh, maybe you can get the pieces around the other side to support the pawns. I think I had an early form pawn even as a junior, which was quite a vivid memory because it was against someone who was like some superstar. Anyway, so it seems paradoxical that sometimes you block up the position to have a form pawn, but as long as you can sort of get your pieces to support it later, it can be a very surprising result. But it seems as though it could be like completely a really dumb idea against all attacking ideas that you should always be trying to open up the position as well. So in some ways it does seem like daft, a really daft thing to do, sometimes to block up your own attack. It really just depends on the position, how much this goal hanger needs the metaphorical football to be passed to it later. So if there's some way around the other side, you install these form pawns and that'll work with them. It's a very interesting thing. But in the end games, they're also going to be restricting the opponent's king as well. So it's not just even a middle game thing. It's like overlapping to the end game scenarios. And then you need to factor in, is it a liability in the end game? Of course. But I've been checking out, contrasting Stockfish with Leela for choices of form pawns or not. It seems the neural networks go for the stuff, the strategic stuff, the reusable strategic stuff, while Stockfish is all about the variations, very, very concrete, all the time variations. And it's often just opening up lines instead and doing very clinical root lifts. And Stockfish is the killer at the moment, by a long shot at the moment. The tactical monster. It can totally demolish other tactical monsters. Scale as well. So if anyone's following TSAC, it's fascinating. Let's not give up the bishop for nothing. Can I afford d5 for bishop e4? Knight f4. Is there some weird queen sack? Well, I'll be a bit concerned about some weird queen sack. But form pawn, threatened mate, bishop e4, bishop d5. Bishop e4, king moves. Bishop h6, rook g8. No, hang on. I'll play this first, right? Then I play queen h4, maybe? Except he's got bishop e4 to h7. Wait. Okay, that's not happening anyway. Oh, this is nice for bishop e5. Okay, it's dangerous, I think, for bishop e5 there. Okay, I think it's 3 minutes to go. Does anyone want to challenge with a 3-minute game, perchance? Because there's only 3 minutes to go. Any quick 3-minute challenge from anyone to round things off? 3-minute challenge. Or okay, play Gambit 17. Now this is the part of the show where I don't know. I've taken my mental foot off the pedal. I'm going to try and actually not lose all my pieces and stuff. Okay. So this will be the last game, I think, today. So Gambit 7. One elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants, 10 elephants. Okay, I have to. Let's go on to the next challenge. Is there a 3-minute challenge from Friedel? Okay. There's a challenge from Gustav. I thought he might take. Maybe h3. Queen h4. Or f3 looks dynamic. Oh, taken and bishop g4. So knight g5, knight f3, bishop g4. I'll still play it. Can it? No, not yet. Rook a3. There's rook c3 for bishop b5. Queen at 8. Bishop a4, right there. Queen bishop b5. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got a bit lucky there. Yeah, it's exciting. Bonus game. Okay. Okay, yeah, thanks. Until next week. Have a good rest of the week. See you next week. Okay, one fun, 10 boring. I would vote one myself. I enjoyed today. Thanks very much. Okay, yeah. All right. See you later then. See you next week.